Most people on Social Security believe one thing without question, that the check they started with is the check they will always receive, that the number is set, final, unchangeable. For three specific categories of senior, that assumption is wrong. And the difference can be $400 more every month, permanently. Three strategies, each one legal, each one available right now. Almost nobody uses them, not because they are hidden, because nobody ever explained they existed. By the end of this video, you will know all three and exactly how to start each one today. Now you might be thinking, these strategies only apply to people who made a mistake with their Social Security claim. You followed the standard advice. You filed when you were told to file. So none of this applies to you. That is the first thing I want to correct. Strategy 2 in this video applies to millions of women who made no mistake at all. They followed every rule. The Social Security Administration simply never compared their benefit to the higher amount federal law entitles them to. The lower check arrived every month. Nobody said a word. Or you might think, if something this valuable existed, SSA would have told me about it. They would have sent a letter. They did not. They will not. The SSA does not work for your maximum benefit. It works with what you give it. Before we go further, I am not a lawyer. I am not a licensed insurance agent. I am not a financial advisor. Everything in this video is educational based on current 2026 SSA law and federal benefit rules. Confirm your specific situation directly with SSA at 1-800-7721-213 or at ssa.gov/myaccount before acting on anything you hear here. My name is Richard Voss. 18 years inside federal benefits policy taught me that the gap between what the rules allow and what seniors actually claim is wider than almost anyone realizes. That gap is what this channel exists to close. So here is the question worth asking. Why would three legal strategies that can permanently increase a senior's monthly Social Security check by $400 or more, go unused by millions of people who qualify for them right now? The answer is not complicated. The Social Security Administration is a claims processing agency. It processes what it receives. It pays what is on file. It does not audit your record to find ways to increase your check. It does not send letters explaining options you have not asked about. It does not compare your current payment to a higher entitlement you may already qualify for. It does exactly what you ask it to do, and nothing more. Every senior benefits analysis I reviewed during my policy years documented the same structural finding across the population. Millions of beneficiaries eligible for higher monthly payments were receiving less, not because any rule was broken, because the rules that would help them were never explained. None of this is designed to shortchange you. The protections you are entitled to are written into federal law. What I am about to show you are not loopholes. They are the law working exactly as intended, for the seniors who know to use it. Let me show you what these three strategies look like for two people I want you to keep in mind. Robert is 68. He has been receiving $1,780 per month since he claimed Social Security at 64, before his full retirement age. He reached his full retirement age in 2025. A suspension opportunity has been sitting available to him for over a year. He does not know it exists. Margaret is his wife. She worked part-time for 18 years while raising their children. Her own Social Security check is $680 per month. Her spousal entitlement, up to 50% of Robert's primary insurance amount, is approximately $890 per month. That is approximately $210 every month she has not been collecting. Over 3 years, that is approximately $7,560 sitting unclaimed. Over the next 5 minutes, you will see exactly what each of these three strategies is worth to someone in their situation, and what it takes to start each one. Both options are available to them right now. Neither of them knows it. Strategy 1. Voluntary benefit suspension. Any senior who has reached full retirement age, 67 for those born in 1960 or later, and is currently receiving Social Security can contact SSA and request a voluntary suspension. Benefits stop. Delayed retirement credits begin accruing at 8% per year, guaranteed, on top of any future cost of living adjustments. When the senior resumes, at any point up to age 70, they receive the new, permanently higher amount. No repayment required, no penalty, no paperwork beyond a phone call. I reviewed federal benefits training materials for years that listed voluntary suspension as a theoretically available tool. Every time I looked at utilization data for the eligible population, the actual usage rate was a fraction of what it should have been. A senior receiving $1,600 per month who suspends at 67 and resumes at 70 will receive $1,984 per month, a permanent gain of approximately $400 every single month for the rest of their life. Robert has been sitting at $1,780 per month since claiming at 64. He reached full retirement age in 2025. If he suspends today and resumes in 2 years at 70, his monthly check rises permanently to approximately $2,065. Every month he waits without suspending is a month of 8% annual growth he will never recover. 2 things to know before you call. First, during suspension, any benefits your spouse receives on your record are also suspended. A divorced spouse is the one exception and may continue receiving benefits. Second, Medicare. Part B is no longer deducted from your check during suspension. In 2026, that premium is $202.90 per month. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services bills you directly. Set up automatic payment before your first suspended month or you risk losing Part B coverage entirely. Call 1-800-77-21213 today. Request a voluntary suspension of your retirement benefits. Ask them to calculate what your monthly payment will be at 70 if you suspend today. Get that number in writing before you decide. Quick question, and I want your honest answer in the comments. Before this video, did you know that a senior who has already claimed Social Security can legally suspend their benefits and let them grow at 8% per year? Yes or no? I am going to read everyone, because your answers tell me exactly how many people this channel still needs to reach. Strategy 2. Spousal benefit upgrade. Any married senior 62 or older whose own earned Social Security benefit is less than up to 50% of their spouse's primary insurance amount may be entitled to receive the higher spousal amount. SSA pays whichever is higher, your own earned benefit or the spousal entitlement. The problem is this: SSA makes that comparison at the time you first apply. It does not reevaluate automatically. It does not send a letter if the comparison was never done correctly, or if your spouse began collecting after you had already filed. Millions of women who spent years out of the workforce in part-time work or in lower-earning careers are receiving their own lower check when federal law may entitle them to more. The spousal benefit gap appeared in every senior benefits equity study I reviewed during my policy years. The pattern was the same every time. SSA had the data. SSA did not initiate the comparison. The woman received the lower check. Every time. The Social Security Administration has every piece of data it needs to calculate whether every married woman in this country is receiving the higher of her own or her spousal benefit. It does not send that letter. It never has. The only way to find out is to ask, and you have to know to ask. What that means in practice is this: one phone call, one specific question, can permanently correct a gap that has been costing some women hundreds of dollars every month for years. Margaret has been receiving $680 per month on her own earned benefit for 3 years. Her spousal entitlement, up to 50% of Robert's primary insurance amount, is approximately $890 per month. The difference is approximately $210 every month she has not been collecting. Over 3 years, that is approximately $7,560. One more thing that belongs here. If a spouse passes away, the surviving partner can claim up to 100% of that spouse's benefit as a survivor benefit, entirely separate from the spousal benefit, and in many cases even larger. Ask SSA about survivor benefit eligibility at the same time you request the spousal comparison. Millions of women across the country are in Margaret's exact position. Own earned benefit lower than the entitlement they are legally owed, receiving the lower check month after month, with no notification from SSA that a higher amount may exist. Call 1-800-772-1213. Ask one specific question. Am I currently receiving the higher of my own retirement benefit or my spousal benefit, up to 50% of my spouse's primary insurance amount? Ask SSA to run a formal comparison. If the spousal entitlement is higher and was never correctly applied, request the correction immediately. Both of those strategies require you to already be receiving Social Security. The third one is different. It applies whether you are already collecting or still planning to claim. And for some seniors, the correction has been sitting in their file for decades. Strategy 3. Earnings Record Error Correction. A retired nurse in Illinois, 69 years old, worked for 3 different hospital systems between 1984 and 2019. When she reviewed her SSA earnings record for the first time after watching a video about Social Security, she found 2 full years of earnings missing from her record entirely, 1997 and 1998. Both years she had earned approximately $48,000. She filed the correction with supporting W-2 documentation. SSA recalculated her benefit. Her monthly check increased by $187 permanently, retroactive to her original claim date. SSA calculates your benefit from what it has. If a year is missing, the calculation is wrong. The benefit is lower than it should be. SSA will not tell you. I reviewed SSA operational reports throughout my policy years that documented earnings record discrepancies as a recurring, documented finding. The correction process existed and was available to every affected beneficiary. The proactive notification to those beneficiaries did not exist, and still does not. The retired nurse corrected 2 missing years and gained $187 per month permanently. Depending on the earnings level of the missing years, a corrected record may add anywhere from $50 to $400 per month for the rest of a recipient's life. Every senior who has worked for multiple employers, done self-employment work, changed their name, or had earnings filed under a slight name variation is a potential candidate for a discrepancy. Most assume SSA has the right number. SSA has what was reported. What was reported and what was earned are not always the same. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount today, not this week, today. Review your earnings record year by year, going back to your first year of employment. Compare against W-2s, tax returns, or any employment records you still have. Any year that shows 0 or an obviously wrong amount, report the discrepancy by calling 1-800-772-1213 or by submitting SSA Form SSA 7008, the request for correction of earnings record. The older the error, the harder to correct. Act now. Now look at all 3 of these together. Voluntary suspension, 8% guaranteed growth per year on a check the senior is already receiving for every year between full retirement age and 70. Spousal upgrade, up to 50% of a spouse's primary insurance amount, for millions of women currently collecting less than federal law entitles them to. Earnings record correction, a permanent monthly increase for every year of missing income that gets restored to the record. For Robert and Margaret, his suspension gain over 2 years, her spousal correction, and a conservative estimate on any earnings record discrepancy, the combined potential monthly increase is over $650. That figure includes Robert's suspension gain of approximately $285 per month, Margaret's spousal correction of approximately $210 per month, and a conservative earnings record estimate. Not a guarantee. The range that federal law currently makes possible for 2 people in their exact situation. Nobody told them this money was available. Here is what all 3 of these have in common. They are in the law. Available right now. No new qualification. No application process longer than a phone call. No financial product. No cost. The reason most beneficiaries are not using them is the same reason this channel exists: the gap between what federal benefits law allows and what the people it protects actually know. That gap is not permanent. It ends the moment you know where to look. The senior who knows these 3 strategies walks into their next SSA call with a specific question and leaves with a higher monthly check. The senior who does not know waits for a letter that will never come. It is already yours. 3 strategies, 3 actions. Do all 3 this week. 1. If you are between 67 and 70 and currently receiving Social Security, call 1-800-772-1213 today. Ask what your monthly payment would be if you suspended now and resumed at 70. Get the number in writing, then decide. 2. If you are married and your spouse has a higher Social Security record, call 1-800-772-1213 and ask whether your spousal entitlement, up to 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount, is higher than your own earned benefit. Request the formal comparison. 3. Log into ssa.gov/myaccount today. Review your complete earnings record. Any year wrong or missing, call 1-800-772-1213 or file SSA Form SSA 7008 before the documentation window closes. What I publish on this channel is what 18 years inside federal benefits policy taught me about the gap between what the rules allow and what seniors actually receive. Subscribe, because the next strategy I cover may be the one that changes your number. Which of these 3 strategies applies to your situation right now? Drop the number in the comments, 1, 2, or 3. The most common answer becomes its own full video. Are you already receiving Social Security, or are you still deciding when to claim? That answer shapes everything I cover next on this channel. If you know a woman on Social Security who has been receiving her own lower benefit, without anyone ever comparing it to her spousal entitlement, this video is worth sending. The comparison takes 1 phone call. The gain can be permanent. One final note for public sector workers, teachers, firefighters, government employees. The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law in January 2025. For most affected beneficiaries, retroactive payments and updated monthly amounts were processed and delivered by mid-2025. If you are a public sector worker who never applied for Social Security because the government pension offset would have eliminated your benefit entirely, that benefit may now exist and you may never have claimed it. Contact SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 to find out where your case stands. And if you want to understand exactly when to claim Social Security to maximize your lifetime benefit, including the one decision most financial advisors get wrong, that video is right here.